big news at the Capitol this week is that the Texas House of Representatives finally appointed its committees, which means, of course, that bills can start actually moving through the process. Of course, there are a few committees that are particularly important to Agriculture and Farm Bureau members. The Agriculture and Livestock Committee will be headed by Representative Yvonne Gonzalez-Toure from Jim Wells County. She represents a very agriculture and rural district that basically goes from San Antonio all the way down to Alice, and she's a good friend of Texas Farm Bureau. And she has a committee full of agricultural leaders that she can lean on agricultural policy issues. The House Natural Resources Committee, of course, is very important to us, and it's because that's the committee that handles all the water issues for the Texas House of Representatives. There was lots of talk about what would Speaker Strauss, being from San Antonio, do with the House Natural Resources Committee. Well, we have that answer. Alan Ritter, who represents sort of a urban-rural district in that he has Beaumont, but also a lot of the rural areas around Beaumont, is going to chair that committee. We have always worked very well with Representative Ritter on many issues, and so we feel really good about the fact that he is going to be leading that committee. Of course, transportation is a huge issue for Farm Bureau and for agriculture this session, and Representative Joe Pickett from El Paso is going to lead that committee. Representative Pickett has been a good friend of Farm Bureau. He has been critical of TxDOT in the past and how they handle their operations, and so on many issues Farm Bureau is actually in line with Representative Pickett, and so I think we'll work with him very well. Of course, everybody wants to know who's going to chair Appropriations Committee, because obviously they write the state budget, and from an agricultural standpoint, we have several things we'd like to accomplish this session with regards to boll weevil eradication, feral hogs, and maintaining funding for other agriculture programs. Well, the good news for Farm Bureau members is that Representative Jim Pitts is once again going to chair the Appropriations Committee. Representative Pitts was initially the chairman under Speaker Tom Craddock until Representative Warren Chisholm was appointed to that position. But while Representative Pitts chaired Appropriations Committee, we worked with him very well. He actually owns farmland around the Waxahachie area, and so he understands our issues. In addition to that, Speaker Strauss named 11 rural members to the Appropriations Committee. That's out of 27 total members. So certainly rural issues will be heard on that committee. And then lastly, of course, eminent domain is our big issue for the session. And Representative Dennis Bonnen has been named the chairman of the Land and Resource Management Committee, where the eminent domain bill will go. The good news there is that Representative Bonnen did support House Bill 2006 last session. He did vote for it, and all of his committee members that are returning members of the legislature also voted for the bill. There are only 2 members who aren't on record supporting the bill, and that's because they're freshmen. So I think things look very good for Texas Farm Bureau and Texas Agriculture in the Texas House with these committee appointments, and we should look forward to having a good session.
Senator Craig Estes introduced Senate Bill 18 this week. This is a comprehensive eminent domain reform bill. It's a very good bill, and we think it's the one that's going to move in the Senate. It has all the provisions property owner needs. It's got good faith negotiation with attorney's fees for bad faith negotiation, has compensation for diminished access, and it also tightens up the public use definition. What's really critical about this bill is that it's Senate Bill 18. The 18 means it's a low number, which means that the leadership in the Senate feels strongly about this bill that is very important. So we expect it to move quickly, and we hope we can keep all the provisions in it and really pass a great bill out of the Senate. This is an important week on the House side as well because the House committees were named. And not only that, but bills are already being filed to those committees. This means that the game has truly begun, and we can get down to the business of passing eminent domain reform quickly so we can get it through the House and the Senate and get it sent to the governor's office.
This week, Commissioner Todd Staples laid out an additional designation for prescribed burn managers. Currently, we have a commercial prescribed burn master designation where an individual can contract with landowners to do a prescribed burn on their properties. What he's laid out now is a private prescribed burn manager designation so that a landowner or their employee could become qualified to be a burn master, and then during an occasion where there's a burn ban in place, which is actually one of the better opportune times for doing prescribed burns, they would be able to do a prescribed burn on their own property as long as they had the designation. With that designation, they would have some protection from liability as well as the approval of the state for doing it. There was a meeting that he laid this out at, and a lot of people attended, a lot of people who are out there in the state who have the skills and the knowledge of handling fires and using them as a tool, a resource for landowners, and not only improving the land that they have, but also as a public safety issue, bringing down the fuel load that is out there in some places where if a wildfire were to start under the wrong conditions, it could be devastating for local communities, as we've seen in the past in the Texas Panhandle and Central Texas and other parts of the state. Another aspect of this meeting that the Commissioner had that he laid out that would work well for our county farm bureaus is that it could be a good purpose activity for some of our boards. A lot of county judges, county commissioners' courts, and don't currently fully understand the rules and regulations surrounding prescribed burns. With this designation, there's going to be a template that moves forward. There's supposed to be a better understanding from the county judges and county commissioners. However, there's not always a full understanding, and this might be an opportunity for our county farm bureaus to meet together with the local elected officials and explain to them the changes that have taken place once this is enacted. And one more thing I did want to point out is that Texas is very fortunate to have so many people who've devoted their life to understanding and being able to fight fires, and also understanding the importance of using this tool to protect public safety. And we ought to always be looking for ways and opportunities to put the skills and the knowledge that these individuals have acquired to use for the good of our state.